I work from home as a data analyst. Nothing glamorous, just steady income and the freedom to set my own hours. Piper, my girlfriend of 5 years, had a different kind of career. She was an image consultant for the wealthy crowd in our city. CEOs, heirs, socialites. They paid her to tell them how to dress, how to present themselves, how to be seen. For the first couple of years, she appreciated what we had. A quiet life, no drama, just us. But somewhere along the way, that changed. She started looking at me differently, like I was background noise in her increasingly loud life. Last Friday, she insisted we go to Marcello's, this upscale Italian place downtown where her clients eat. I knew what it was about. She wanted to be seen there. I went along because, honestly, I wanted to see where this was heading. We were halfway through the appetizers when he walked in. Jasper, her ex from 6 years ago. Photographer, minor celebrity in fashion circles. The kind of guy who posts shirtless photos from Ibiza and calls it art. I watched Piper's face light up in a way it hadn't for me in months. He came over, naturally, kissed her cheek, ignored me completely at first, then offered a limp handshake when she introduced me. They talked about mutual friends, about some gallery opening, about his recent trip to Milan. I ate my pasta and said nothing. Then Piper did it. Right there, with other tables watching, with the waiter hovering nearby, she turned to me and said, "Jasper wants me to come back to his world. He's offering me excitement, passion, a chance to be part of something bigger." She paused, her eyes cold. "You offer me comfort, stability. That's it." I put my fork down, looked at her, really looked at her. "Give me one good reason to stay with you instead of him," she said. The restaurant felt quieter. I could see Jasper smirking, arms crossed, leaning against our table like he'd already won. I didn't raise my voice, didn't get emotional. I just asked, "Can you give me one good reason to stay with you?" Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. I pulled out my wallet, counted exact bills for my half of the meal, including tip, and placed them on the table. Then I stood up, buttoned my jacket, and walked out. I didn't look back. Didn't need to. I already knew what I'd see. Confusion. Shock. Maybe the first flicker of panic. My phone started buzzing before I even reached my car. I turned it to silent and drove home. She called 11 times that night. Sent a dozen messages. Half were apologies that didn't apologize for anything specific. The other half were angry. How dare I embarrass her like that? How dare I just leave? Didn't I know who was watching? I didn't block her number. I just stopped checking. By Sunday, her messages got desperate. She needed to talk. We could work this out. She didn't mean it the way it sounded. Classic Jasper had gotten in her head. I didn't respond to any of it. Monday morning, I made coffee, opened my laptop, and got to work. Not the work she thought I did. The actual work. The work I'd been doing quietly for years while she assumed I was just some guy who troubleshoots servers and writes basic code. See, I'm not just a data analyst. I own Avery and Ava Analytics. We specialize in digital reputation management, search optimization, and strategic market positioning. We operate through half a dozen subsidiary companies. Most people, including Piper, had no idea. For the last 3 years, I'd been the invisible hand behind her success. Every major contract she landed, I made sure her name appeared first in search results. Every client who found her organically, I engineered that. The consulting firm that kept referring high-paying clients her way, I owned it through a shell company. She thought she was brilliant. She thought she earned it all. She earned nothing. I built her reputation like you'd build a house of cards. Beautiful, impressive, and extremely easy to knock down. I opened my project management dashboard and started clicking. One by one, I began dismantling everything I'd built for her. It was Tuesday morning, and I had work to do. The first contract I pulled was the biggest one. Fitzgerald Holdings had been funneling 6-figure projects to Piper for 18 months. On paper, they were a venture capital firm specializing in luxury brands. In actuality, just another subsidiary in my network. I sent a professional email to their listed consultant coordinator, which was really just an automated system I controlled. Subject line, Strategic Realignment Initiative. Body text, effective immediately. All external consulting contracts under Portfolio Division C are suspended pending internal restructuring. Piper's primary income stream disappeared with one keystroke. Next, I adjusted her search rankings. Nothing dramatic. I didn't bury her completely. I just stopped artificially boosting her. Let her compete on merit alone with the dozens of other image consultants in the city. Within 72 hours, her website dropped from page 1 to page 4 on Google. In this industry, page 4 might as well be oblivion. Then I addressed the referral network. I'd built partnerships with 3 boutique agencies that regularly sent overflow clients to her. A few polite messages about shifting our partner priorities, and those referrals stopped cold. My phone kept buzzing with her calls. I let them go to voicemail. Tuesday evening, she left a message that was half plea, half accusation. She needed to talk. Things were happening with her business that didn't make sense. Clients were canceling. Was I behind this? Was I really that petty? Petty. That word made me smile. Wednesday morning, she tried a different approach. A text that said she missed me. That Jasper was just old feelings resurfacing, nothing serious. That she wanted to explain everything if I'd just give her a chance. I replied with 4 words, "You made your choice." She called immediately. I declined it. By Thursday, her social media told the story I expected. Photos of her with Jasper at some gallery opening. Her smile looked forced, but she was committed to the narrative. He had his arm around her waist in that possessive way guys like him do. The comments from her followers were supportive. Power couple. And you two look amazing together. I scrolled past it without reacting. What Piper didn't know was that Jasper's interest in her was never about her. It was about status. In his world, dating a successful image consultant made him look legitimate. Gave him access to the corporate clients she worked with. But that only worked if she was actually successful. Friday afternoon, I got a text from Grace, Piper's older sister. We'd always gotten along. She was the grounded one in that family. Saw what happened at Marcello's. Friend of mine was there. She deserved that. I appreciated the honesty. Grace followed up. She's panicking. Won't admit it, but I can tell. You did something, didn't you? I didn't confirm or deny. Just sent back. She wanted excitement. She got it. That weekend, Piper's Instagram went quiet. No post with Jasper. No posts at all. That was unusual for someone who treated social media like a second job. Monday morning, one of my monitoring alerts pinged. Piper had posted in a private industry forum asking if anyone else had experienced sudden drops in client engagement. She was fishing for answers, trying to figure out if this was a market-wide trend or something specific to her. 3 people responded. All basically said their businesses were fine. Tuesday, she called me from a different number. I picked up out of curiosity. Why won't you talk to me? Her voice was strained. We don't have anything to discuss. Yes, we do. I need to understand what's happening. My business is falling apart. Markets fluctuate. I said, keeping my tone neutral. Maybe you're just not as in demand as you thought. Don't do that. Don't pretend you don't know something. What do you want me to say, Piper? You humiliated me in public because you thought you had better options. Now you're discovering maybe you don't. That's called consequences. So you are doing this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just not helping anymore. Silence on the other end. Then, quietly, what does that mean? Figure it out. I hung up. Wednesday evening, Grace texted again. Jasper dumped her. Said she wasn't on his level anymore. She's a mess. I read it twice. Felt nothing. Thursday morning, I started phase 2. The part where I made sure she understood exactly what she'd lost. Phase 2 was simple. I wanted her to see the architecture of her own success. Every beam, every support, every invisible wire that held up her carefully constructed image. I started with the Fitzgerald Holdings account. I sent her a detailed termination letter, professionally worded, citing strategic portfolio rebalancing. It included a line thanking her for her contributions and wishing her well in future endeavors. Corporate speak for you're done here. The letter went out Friday morning. She called me 2 hours later. Did you see this? Fitzgerald is dropping me. I saw it, I said. This was my biggest account. Do you understand what this means? I understand math. No, Fitzgerald means what? 40% of your annual revenue. Closer to 50, she admitted, voice tight. And other clients are going quiet too. I sent 3 proposals this week. Nobody's responding. Tough market. Stop it. Just stop. I know you're doing this. How would I be doing this, Piper? I'm just a guy who works from home, remember? The one who offers nothing but comfort and stability. She went quiet. I could hear her breathing, trying to control her anger. I want to meet, she finally said. Face to face. We need to talk about this. About what? Your business problems? I'm not a consultant. About us. There is no us. You ended that at Marcello's when you asked me to compete with Jasper for your attention. I was confused. He got in my head. No, you were arrogant. You thought you had options. Turns out you were wrong. I hung up before she could respond. That weekend, Grace called me. Actual phone call, not text. She hired a lawyer, Grace said without preamble. She's talking about suing you for sabotage or interference or something. Let her. You're not worried? Why would I be? I haven't done anything illegal. Companies cancel contracts all the time. Search algorithms change. Referrals dry up. It's business. Grace laughed, short and sharp. You're cold. I respect that. I'm not cold. I'm just done being her safety net while she plays in traffic. Fair enough. For what it's worth, she's losing it. Had to move out of that expensive place she rented downtown. Can't afford it anymore without the Fitzgerald money coming in. Where's she moving? Someplace across the river. Smaller. She's embarrassed about it. She should be embarrassed about how she treated people when she thought she was untouchable. Agreed, Grace said. Anyway, the lawyer thing won't go anywhere. He already told her she doesn't have a case. Everything you did, assuming you did anything, was completely legal. I didn't do anything except stop helping her. Right? Well, she's learning a hard lesson about the difference between earned success and borrowed success. We talked a bit longer, mostly about nothing important, then said goodbye. Monday morning, I received an email from someone named Walter Craig. He identified himself as Piper's legal counsel and requested documentation of any business relationships I had with entities that previously contracted with his client. I forwarded the email to my own attorney with a note. Handle this. Full transparency, full cooperation. My attorney responded within an hour. This is nothing. They're fishing. We'll provide what's legally required and nothing more. Don't lose sleep over it. I wasn't losing sleep over anything. Tuesday afternoon, Piper showed up at my door. I saw her through the window before she knocked. She looked different. Hair pulled back, minimal makeup, wearing jeans and a plain sweater instead of her usual designer outfits. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. Please, she said. Just give me 10 minutes. I checked my watch, then stepped aside. 10 minutes. She walked into my living room like she was entering foreign territory. Looked around like she was seeing the place for the first time, even though she'd stayed here hundreds of times over 5 years. I'm sorry, she started. For what I said at the restaurant. For how I treated you. I was wrong. Okay. That's it. What else do you want me to say? I accept your apology. Doesn't change anything. Can't we just talk about this? Work through it. Work through what exactly? You made it clear I wasn't enough for you. I accepted that. Now you're dealing with the consequences of that choice. I made a mistake. You made a decision. There's a difference. Her eyes filled with tears. I felt nothing watching them fall. I need help, she said quietly. My business is dying. I don't know what to do. That's not my problem anymore. How can you be this cruel? Cruel? I'm not doing anything to you, Piper. I'm just not saving you. There's a difference. Her 10 minutes turned into 15, then 20. She kept talking, circling back to the same points. She was sorry. She panicked. Jasper manipulated her. She needed me. I let her talk until she ran out of words. Are you done? I asked. She nodded, wiping her eyes. Good. Now let me tell you something. For 3 years, I built your career. Not helped it. Built it. Every major client you landed came through referral networks I created. Every time someone searched for image consultants in this city and found you first, that was me. I manipulated search algorithms, bought strategic ad placements, created shell consulting firms that existed solely to funnel business to you. Her face went pale. The Fitzgerald account? That was my company. Avery and Ava Analytics. I own it. I created it specifically to give you legitimacy in the corporate world. When executives saw that Fitzgerald trusted you, other companies followed. That's how credibility works. You're lying. Am I? Check the business registry. Avery and Ava Analytics, founded 4 years ago, CEO listed as Gregory Avery. That's my middle name and my mother's maiden name. I used them to keep the ownership private. She stared at me, processing. Why would you do that? Because I loved you, and I wanted to see you succeed. But I also wanted to know if you'd value me for who I am, not what I could do for you. Guess we both got our answer. I didn't know. How was I supposed to know? You weren't. That was the point. I wanted you to love me without knowing what I was doing behind the scenes. Instead, you looked at my quiet life and saw boring. You saw Jasper's flashy lifestyle and thought that was better. You chose wrong. She stood up, pacing now. So all of this, my entire career, was fake. Your career was as genuine as you were willing to work for it. I just opened doors. You still had to walk through them and deliver results. You did that part. But when doors close and you don't have someone opening new ones, you're left with whatever you built on your own. Which is nothing, she whispered. Not nothing. Just not as much as you thought. She turned to face me. Can we fix this? Can we go back? To what? You humiliated me in public because you thought I was beneath you. Now you want to come back because you realize I was the foundation holding everything up? That's not love, Piper. That's desperation. I do love you. No, you don't. You love what I provided. Security, stability, success. You just never connected those things to me. You thought they came from you. Her phone buzzed. She glanced at it, then put it away quickly, but not before I saw the screen. A message from someone asking if she could lower her consulting rate. You should go, I said. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. I stopped doing things. That's the problem for you. She left without another word. I watched her drive away in her leased Mercedes, which she probably couldn't afford anymore either. That evening, I met Grace for dinner at a casual place near her office. Nothing fancy, just burgers and conversation. She came to see you, Grace said. Not a question. She did. And nothing. She wanted me to save her. I declined. Grace nodded slowly. She called me after, crying. Said you admitted to controlling her entire career. I didn't control it. I supported it invisibly. There's a difference. Is there? Yes. Control means making someone do what you want. Support means helping them achieve what they want. I never told Piper who to work with or how to run her business. I just made sure opportunities came her way. She made all her own decisions, including the decision to throw you away for Jasper. Exactly. Grace took a bite of her burger, thinking, you know what's funny? I tried to warn her about him years ago. He's always been like that. Uses people, moves on when they stop being useful. She didn't listen then either. Some people need to learn through experience. Expensive experience in her case. The most important lessons usually are. We finished dinner and walked out together. Grace paused by her car. For what it's worth, I think she genuinely didn't realize what she had with you. She was too busy looking at surface-level things. Status, excitement, image. She forgot to look at substance. That's a kind way of saying she was shallow. Grace smiled. I'm her sister. I'm allowed to be diplomatic. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in weeks. No anger, no bitterness. Just the quiet satisfaction of knowing I'd made the right choice walking out of that restaurant. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, then decided to check. It was from Jasper. Hey man, no hard feelings about the Piper thing, right? Just happened naturally. She's a bit much anyway. High maintenance. I stared at the message for a long moment, then blocked the number without responding. Some people weren't worth the energy. 3 weeks passed. I stopped tracking Piper's situation. Grace would occasionally text updates without me asking. Usually just observations about how their family dinners were tense now that Piper was back to struggling financially. I focused on work. Avery and Ava had picked up 2 new clients, both legitimate consulting firms who wanted help with their digital presence. I did the work properly this time. No hidden agendas, just good service for fair compensation. I also started taking Italian cooking classes on Thursday evenings. Something I'd mentioned wanting to do years ago, but Piper had called it unnecessary and a waste of time. Turned out I enjoyed it. The instructor, an older woman named Laura, had this way of explaining techniques that made everything feel achievable. On a Wednesday evening, my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Checked the window and saw Piper standing there, looking worse than last time. Thinner, exhausted, wearing clothes that had seen better days. I considered not answering, but curiosity won. What do you want? I asked through the barely open door. I need to talk to you. Please. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She sat on my couch like it might collapse under her. I'm broke, she said without preamble. Completely broke. I had to give up my apartment. I'm staying with Grace temporarily. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Are you really? I don't wish poverty on anyone, Piper. But I'm also not going to pretend your situation isn't a direct result of your choices. She nodded, accepting that. I came to tell you something. I found out the truth. About everything. I hired someone to dig into Fitzgerald Holdings, into the referral networks, all of it. Took my last bit of savings, but I needed to know. And you were right. About all of it. Fitzgerald was yours. The consulting partnerships were yours. Even the SEO rankings, I found your digital fingerprints all over my online presence. She looked up at me. You built me a career, and I didn't even know it. I didn't build you a career. I created opportunities. You still had to execute. But without those opportunities, I was nothing. You're not nothing. You're just not as exceptional as you thought you were. Most people aren't. She flinched at that, but didn't argue. I came to apologize. Actually apologize, not the fake kind I did before. I treated you like you were lucky to be with me, like I was doing you a favor. When the truth is, you were the best thing I ever had, and I was too stupid and vain to see it. I sat down across from her. Okay. I accept your apology. Can I ask you something? She said quietly. Why did you do all that for me? The business support, I mean. Because I wanted to see you happy. And I wanted to know if you could love me without knowing what I was capable of. Turns out the answer was no. That's not fair. How could I love something I didn't know existed? You're missing the point. I wanted you to love me, period. Not love what I did for you. Just me. The guy who worked from home and made coffee in the morning and listened to your problems and supported your dreams. But I wasn't exciting enough, was I? She started crying. Not the manipulative kind from before. These were genuine, ugly tears. I was wrong. I was so wrong about everything. Jasper was exactly who Grace said he was. He used me for connections and dropped me the second I stopped being useful. And I did the same thing to you, didn't I? Yes. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to care. I just wanted you to know that I understand now. I understand what I lost. Good. I hope that understanding helps you make better choices going forward. She wiped her face. Are you seeing anyone? That's none of your business. Right? Sorry. She stood up. I should go. Grace is probably wondering where I am. I walked her to the door. She paused before leaving. For what it's worth, I'm not asking you to take me back. I know that ship sailed. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry and that you deserved better than how I treated you. I did deserve better. And eventually, I'll find it. She nodded and walked to her car. An older Toyota now, not the Mercedes. Probably sold that to cover bills. I closed the door and went back to my laptop. I had work to finish before my cooking class tomorrow. My phone buzzed. Grace, she came to see you? Me? Yeah. Grace, how'd it go? Me. She apologized. For what it's worth. Grace, she means it this time. She's been different lately. Humbler. Me. Good for her. Grace, you're really done, aren't you? Me. I've been done since Marcello's. I just took a while to act on it. Grace, fair enough. See you around. I put my phone down and got back to work. There was something peaceful about having closure without reconciliation. She said her piece, I acknowledged it, and we both moved on. No drama, no drawn-out arguments, just the simple acceptance that some things, once broken, stay broken. And I was fine with that. 2 months after that dinner at Marcello's, my life had transformed in ways I hadn't anticipated. Not dramatically, just steadily better. I was sleeping through the night again, eating meals without tension hovering over the table, working on projects I actually cared about instead of maintaining invisible empires for someone else's benefit. Avery and Ava was thriving. 3 new clients in 6 weeks, all legitimate partnerships where I provided value and got paid fairly for it. No hidden agendas, no puppet strings, just good work. The cooking classes became something I looked forward to. Laura had moved us from basic pasta to more complex dishes. Last week I'd made osso buco that actually turned out well. I invited a few friends over to try it, people I'd neglected during the Piper years because she always found them boring. They weren't boring. They were genuine. And sitting around my dining table, laughing over wine and food I'd cooked myself, I realized how much time I'd wasted trying to fit into Piper's world. On a Saturday morning, I ran into Grace at the farmer's market downtown. She was picking through tomatoes when I walked up. Fancy meeting you here, she said, smiling. I'm making sauce from scratch. Laura's assignment for this week. Look at you, domestic god. She picked out 3 tomatoes and put them in her bag. You seem good. Happy. I am. Piper's working as an assistant now. At Sterling and Associates, that boutique agency across town. You know Diane Sterling. I know of her. Piper used to talk about her as competition. Well, now she works for her. Entry-level position, answering phones and scheduling appointments. The pay is minimal. Grace paused. She's learning, though. Actually learning how to build something without shortcuts. Good for her. She asks about you sometimes. Not in a I want him back way. More like checking if you're okay. I'm better than okay. Grace studied my face. You really have moved on, haven't you? I moved on the second I walked out of that restaurant. Everything after that was just cleaning up loose ends. We talked for a few more minutes about nothing important, then went our separate ways. I finished my shopping and headed home. That evening, I hosted dinner for 6 people. My place wasn't huge, but it fit everyone comfortably. 2 guys from my Thursday cooking class, a couple I'd reconnected with from college, and Grace, who I'd invited on impulse at the market. The osso buco came out perfect. The risotto was creamy. The conversation flowed naturally, jumping from travel stories to terrible bosses to conspiracy theories about streaming service algorithms. Halfway through dessert, someone asked if I was seeing anyone. Not currently, I said. I'm focusing on people who understand the difference between shine and substance. Deep, one of the guys from cooking class said, grinning. But accurate. Grace caught my eye across the table and raised her wine glass slightly. I returned the gesture. Later, after everyone left and I was cleaning up, my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. I saw on Grace's Instagram that you hosted dinner tonight. The food looked amazing. I'm happy you're doing well. I really am. I won't bother you again. Just wanted you to know I'm sorry for everything, and I hope you find someone who appreciates you the way I should have. P. I read it twice. Felt nothing but mild acknowledgement. I didn't respond. Didn't block the number either. Just set my phone down and finished loading the dishwasher. Some stories don't end with grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. They end with quiet acceptance, with someone realizing too late what they had, and someone else realizing they're better off without it. I made coffee the next morning and opened my laptop. Avery and Ava had a consultation scheduled for Monday with a tech startup looking to rebrand. Legitimate work, interesting challenge, fair compensation. My phone stayed silent. No desperate calls, no manipulation attempts, no explosions of drama. Just silence and peace, and the understanding that I'd done exactly what I needed to do. I built Piper a platform, and when she used it to belittle me, I dismantled it. Not out of revenge, but out of self-respect. I didn't destroy her. I just stopped building her up. There's a difference. She wanted fire and passion. She got burned. I wanted peace and authenticity. I found both. And if someone asked me now whether I regretted walking out of Marcelo's that night, leaving her sitting there with her mouth open and her ex-boyfriend smirking beside her, I'd say this: I regret nothing. Some people spend their entire lives waiting for others to see their value. I decided to stop waiting. I knew my worth, and anyone who didn't could watch me walk away. She asked me for one good reason to stay with me instead of him. I never gave her one, because people who need convincing of your value don't deserve access to it. I finished my coffee, closed the laptop, and started planning next week's menu. Laura had mentioned teaching us how to make fresh pasta from scratch. I was looking forward to it. Life moved on, and so did I.